This was really good. Okay, what is our next one? Devil's Door, was it? I think. Yes. And then the last one for the night is Cafe More, right? What? What happened there? Help. I bet I know what happened. What probably happened is my Avast is being dumb. Okay, cool. Believe I was right. Good deal. Okay. You know what I can't do, though? Wait, what? That's weird. I can't even force it into full screen. Funny that the backlog page still works on this page. Yes, Avast has had a lot of issues with a lot of the games this week. In fact, the first one that we tried to play, which was Dirt Party, it outright refused to let me open for the first half an hour of stream or of attempts to do so. And I just had to move on to the second game for the night. And by the time I finished the second game for the night, it let me open it. Content warning. This game contains depictions of violence, blood, gore, and disturbing imagery. It also contains sudden and or disturbing audio and the use of foul language. Player and viewer discretion is advised. If you guys can't deal with foul language, you probably shouldn't have been here to begin with. But otherwise, you know, run. Yes, I may or may not have intentionally included Devil's Door relatively early because Yam has been here since day one. I say relatively early like this isn't week 2 of the jam, but, you know. If we couldn't deal with foul language, we would have already put a restraining order on you, true. And what name shall we call you? Guys, what's the name? Kevin gets around, right? Dick butt. Kevin. Hello. I'll have to give that back to you. You've had really bad delay this week.
I'm so happy to talk to you.
Ooh. You know, I already thought this eye looked sexy, and now I think this eye looks even sexier.
I've been waiting to meet you again.
Let me help you guys out in case you guys can't hear it, because it's a little quiet on your end.
All this time watching you has gotten me lonely.
Don't worry, I'll actually refund that one to you, Rogue.
I want to be with you. Soon, dark. You'll be able to join my world. Soon.
Mark me down as scared and aroused. I mean, what? Another day waking up to dry mouth and a dull headache. I laid an arm across my face, blocking the glare of the sunlight from creeping through the windows ahead of me. Unfortunately, I still hadn't gotten around to buying curtains, or much of any decor, for that matter, considering the bare state of my new room. That's right, my room. I guess I still couldn't believe it. Just a month ago, I was living 2,000 miles away from here, back with Mom and Pop. It was finally time to pack up for college, and instead of choosing the local state university, I decided to listen to my adventurous side and left to attend a small rural college instead. It wasn't particularly prestigious, but it was in my budget. Prior to this, I really hadn't spent time away from my family all that much. We were tight-knit, and it's not like I wanted to get away from them either. I just wanted to see if I could do it. That was it. I wanted to see if I could live, work, and study independently from my parents. I mean, they always supported me well enough, but I was still a child in their eyes, and it only became more apparent the more I grew up. So here I was, making it work out here in a countryside town for once. I still didn't know if I had made the right choice. A notification sound interrupted my thoughts. Answer it. Hopefully it's the demon girl. I reached out to grab the noisy object, but just as it was in my grasp, the rings proceeded to keep repeating again and again. The frenzy of back-to-back calls told me all I needed to know about the caller. Yandere. Ash. With a tired groan, I pushed myself up to get decent. It's a D-mail telling you to stop simping for demon girls. But Melina! Any minute now, and the little devil will come barge.
Pick up your phone for once.
In. I sighed, unable to feign excitement toward my uninvited guest. How about I do that after you learn that spamming my phone with calls won't make me any more likely to actually answer?
I'll consider it. If you consider throwing out your wardrobe and setting it on fire.
Okay, so here's the solution. Everything got way quieter, so we're gonna jack up the volume, and we're gonna pray that we don't regret that later. I can't read this. And it worries me. I feel like it's a secret. Okay, let's test this again. I can't go back around, unfortunately.
I mean, is that really what you wear to bed?
I huffed and pushed past her to grab a fresh shirt from the closet. Suddenly embarrassed of my band tee circa 1960s. She is pretty cute. Or maybe you should get some proper taste in music one of these days.
I was just kidding. I actually like that band, the Kinkies. It's just too easy to pick on you sometimes.
Good luck, Gregor. Don't die. Relieved at hearing her words, I smiled softly before turning my back towards her and looking over my shoulder. So, can you get out for a minute so I can get dressed already?
What, you mean I don't get a front row seat to see you in all your glory? Talk about a ripoff.
Bongiorno. That's Gregor's name. Ash laughs jokingly, pivoting to leave before she notices the ensemble I had laid out on my bedside.
Wait, you can't be serious. Where's your costume? It's Halloween, dummy.
Oh.
You think I dressed like this for shits and giggles?
I mean, I hoped. Well, I really wouldn't put it past you. And newsflash, we're 19, Ash. I think it'll be fine if I don't show up to my college class in clown attire.
That just proves how you know nothing about this town.
I scoffed. Yeah, like you know everything about it. Moving here a few months before me doesn't really give you expert certification or anything.
4 months is plenty of time to collect evidence, especially in a spooky place like Marbrook.
I know I'm gonna regret this. Or, more to the point, you guys are gonna regret this, but I'm jacking up the volume a little bit more. There it was. Evidence. Ash treated our daily lives living in Marbrook like some detective game. Since meeting her, I've had to listen to my fair share of conspiracy theories about the town and all the people here. Why would we regret it? If there's any loud noises, I have you guys literally 6 times louder than what I normally do. So, you know. Sure, the townspeople were pretty closed off, as if they had been living happily in their circle and any visitors were less than welcome. But that didn't mean they were all loonies. I often tried to convince her to be less judgmental, especially since both our families came from big cities. I mean, that's how it is in the country, right? Taking things slow was to be expected. At least that's what I read on iReddit.com. Too tired to push back, I simply nodded along instead. Yep, aliens, werewolves, such and such.
Suit yourself. Just know, I'll be ready with some silver while you hide away in La La Land pretending it all doesn't exist.
Okay, I gotta be real, she's really cute. And anytime her sprite changes, I'm just reminded of just how cute she is. Huh. That's even more incredible. How's a 10-foot slobbering monster with razor-sharp teeth and claws going to be scared off by your grandma's necklace?
Anaphylactic shock? Duh. They're allergic, genius.
Oh, like how vampires are allergic to garlic. Got any proof of that besides the great tellings of your campy romance novels? Sounds good, Cryo. Thank you for hanging out while you could. And have a good night. A knock on the door cut off her next rebuttal. Come in. Expecting who it was, I sat back on my bed and called out an invitation. Come in.
Hey, Miss Moore. Keeping it up, I see.
Ooh. 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 Ooh.
Love your costume.
Aunt Moore came in dressed in a classic navy blue button-down that tied at her waist. Her hair was wrapped up in a polka dot bandana that announced her costume identity quite plainly. Dude, that's wicked cool. As an independent woman living and working by herself in the countryside, Rosie the Riveter's flair worked more to reveal my aunt's inner self rather than masking it. Aunt Moore beamed at the compliment and bounced excitedly. Yes, this is a really, really, really good work so far.
Really? Oh, yes!
Yes, also so the voice actors did a really good job so far as well. I think the biggest complaint I have so far is that Aunt Moore is presumably the MC's aunt and therefore does not have a root. But I mean, admittedly, Best Girl always doesn't have a root. It's a requirement. So I understand why you did it.
I am so happy it landed. And I love your costume too, Ash. Go Smashers, right?
Her words trailed off and Aunt Moore's brows started to knit together upon some realization.
Ashlyn Garrett Mayfield, is that a cigarette in your mouth? In my house?
Uh-oh.
Well, Miss Moore, it's just bubblegum. I gotta stay true to the character. Authenticity is everything.
Thunder is forgetting this is Spooktober, not Rom-Comtober. Yeah. Hey, I'm just saying, at least half the games we've played so far for Spooktober have been romances, so I couldn't imagine a more fitting scene between these two. Now, yes, romance is where most of the people die, but that's neither here nor there. To be fair, in all romances, at least all of the people die eventually. Between Aunt Moore's rash conclusions and Ash's bullheadedness, the two of them made for a high-strung match made in heaven.
Oh, alright. 10 points for Ash. You can redeem them for a donut on me sometime.
I'd eat a donut off of you sometime. I mean, what?
No probs, Miss M.
They may have been 2 basket cases with more than a few holes, but they were the closest people to me here in Marbrook. Josh says he wants to romance Kurisu. I mean, I called it. Duh. Once my parents found out about my desperate attempts to move out of the city, they pushed for me to consider the Rift Valley Institute, the college I currently attend. Aunt Moore, or Adrena, as Mom called her, was an unwed sister living on the old farmland their father had brought a while back. After meeting my father, Mom moved to my hometown to build a life, while Aunt Moore started working as a rancher. Since then, she scored a few entrepreneur deals and has been living pretty comfortably by herself. The free-spirited lifestyle she lived, along with her eccentric manners, kind of made her the black sheep of the family. Yep. In a way, I think sending me out to her was a way to keep her close and help keep my living costs low.
Well, what do you think? Aren't I just riveting?
Fucking A. You're the most riveting riveter to have ever riveted, Auntie.
Your sarcasm will only take you so far.
That wasn't sarcasm. The fuck? I'm hurt. Genuinely hurt. I smile, Aunt Moore's positive energy helping me ready myself for the day.
Well, I don't see your costume. You should get ready. I have some jack-o'-lantern pancakes made downstairs. They're getting cold as we speak. You too, Ash.
Actually... We have class in an hour, too.
Well, all that means is we got a trip to be making. I'll pack the pancakes to go.
Aunt Moore hops down the hall and I hear her singing all the way to the kitchen downstairs. I sigh loudly. I guess we're doing this. Can you give me a few to get situated? I've got this headache that won't leave me alone.
Again? Isn't this like the 3rd week in a row? Are you sure it's not your blood pressure or something?
No, this headache is named Ash. Yeah, I had a checkup at the school infirmary that told me that much at least. I think I'm just having a hard time with sleep, residual jet lag or something.
Really? I mean, we don't have to go. Hell, we can ditch class altogether. It would be a good time to eat through the hoard of snacks I've been collecting.
Though she maintained an uninterested expression, I smiled at the sincerity in her voice. Between the Illuminati rabbit holes and her rants about how Alexa Wakerson had to be a demon in human flesh, it wasn't often you'd find Ash acting sentimental. Got it. Alexa is in fact the demon girl. Don't worry about it. I'll get over it soon enough. I'll ask Aunt Moore for some ibuprofen. We've got some pumpkin-flavored pancakes to get to, after all. I could have sworn her face got a shade or two more red, but Ash looked away before I could get a good look.
Is that how you interpreted it? Pumpkin-shaped pancakes came to mind instead.
Well, even better. As Ash left the room, I made sure I looked presentable for the day, and I brought along my backpack, my wallet and backpack. We had just under an hour to finish costume shopping to make it to our history class. Being late to Miss Ellsworth's class was definitely not something I wanted to do. Partially because she was a rather strict teacher, and well, other reasons too. Note to self, Mrs. Ellsworth is hot. Got it. All ready to leave, I closed the door behind me and we headed off to the nearest Hallows Town store. The Hallows Town store wasn't far, and the three of us made a fun ride of the short trip, pumpkin-shaped pancakes in tow. Upon entering, though, I was reminded why I wanted to avoid Halloween altogether. A dramatic organ tune played as I passed the red sensors of an animatronic skeleton, its arms reaching out to grab me. I stepped through a maze of nuclear green spiderwebbing and caution tape only to enter a field of zombie graves, and we hadn't even reached the costume section yet. Eerie music echoed from the speakers as I coughed past multiple fog and smoke machines. Ugh, why everyone was so enamored with Halloween I couldn't understand. It was the same every year. The decorations were ridiculous. There were rarely any actual meals to be had, and it resulted in one of the greatest abominations Earth had to offer. Candy corn. How does this store get customers? Good question. I couldn't help another sigh and pushed forward, hoping to get this done quickly. Losing my footing, I stumbled back into a rack of scythes and bloody axes, knocking one of them over. Ugh, and this. The ever-constant need for all the people around you to come up and scare you as if they were paid to do so. Of course, I could only expect as much from Ash.
Got ya, didn't I? Your face was perfect.
Oh my. That's some special Jack-in-the-Box, isn't it? Look at all these decorations. Maybe I should have gotten more for the lawn.
Straining the display I bumped into, I watched the two women in front of me explore the aisles of latex masks and plastic weapons, clearly delighted. Alright, we've got a goal here, people. How about I start on this side and we pick out a few looks that would fit?
Of course! And the costume's on me today, since we all but dragged you out of bed for this. Anything specific in mind?
Ooh, how about dressing up as a hobgoblin? Here's the mask. Look! There's green ooze that squeezes out of this guy's pimples.
I held back my gag reflex as Ash demonstrated lumps of jelly-like ooze out of the mask. The viscous substance plopped on the tile floor, pooling at her feet.
Well, I should clean that up.
Probably. That freaky moment when you see something move out of the corner of your eye while playing Halloween games. You know what? Ash doesn't get to pick any. How about that?
Alright, fine. Guessing you want to play it safe, right?
I just want something that's not gonna embarrass me, honestly. Besides, there's only so many costumes left, looks like.
Are you planning to go trick-or-treating tonight?
Knowing Alexa the Scare Queen, she'll probably invite you to some rager where everyone gets smashed and you all barf on each other before midnight.
Enough games have legitimately unnerving sound design for uncomfortable scenes. True.
A rager, huh? That doesn't sound so nice.
Don't worry, Aunt Moore. Ash is just exaggerating. I don't think anyone's planning to get that wasted.
Well, just know I want to keep the two of you safe. You can always call me up for a designated driver if you need to.
Wow, Miss Moore. My parents would freak out at the thought of me drinking. That's so cool of you.
I was in college not too long ago. I remember what it was like.
Just how old is she?
Just try to stay out of anything too risky. Fox News says Halloween is the most dangerous night of the whole year, after all. According to your grandmother, that is.
Oh. You mean like visiting the house on the end of the block? The one with the recluse who only does his shopping through Rainforest Prime?
I don't follow.
Ash thinks the house on the end of the block is haunted. Like the guy doesn't really live there or something.
Have you ever seen him?
Well, no, but that doesn't mean he doesn't exist. Hell, none of my neighbors ever see me and I exist. Ugh, we're getting off track again.
Oh, right. Well, let's get going. Meet back here in 10. Here's the roundup. Which side do you want to pick first?
You know, for leftover costumes, these aren't bad.
Here's the... Which side do you want to...
You know, for leftover costumes, these aren't bad.
Oh, I see. I get you. I get you. I'm onto
Here's
you.
the... Which side do you want...
You know, for leftover costumes, these aren't bad.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm leaning towards the devil. I'm liking the costume. I'm liking the outfit. Very suave. Also, if I'm gonna woo the demon girl, that's a good point. You like Prince? That's the one I'm debating on too. Like, I'm bouncing back and forth between these two. I think I'm gonna go with Prince because I want to be a pretty princess. So... The royal blue and purple garments fitted nicely to my frame, while the silver buttons and cufflinks shined under the fluorescent lights of the dressing room. Also, I feel like if you were a demon, you'd be insulted by a caricature. I know I would be insulted if I saw a caricature of me. Unless it was really sexy, in which case, you know. Because... Chase isn't wrong. I definitely felt more confident as if suddenly a noble in my white gloves and ruffled shirt. Also, if we commit a murder tonight, we have the gloves on. That was my second reason. I smiled at my choice.
Ready yet? Class starts in 15.
I stepped out from behind the curtain all dressed and unexpectedly decided to show off the threads. White gloves and murder don't match. It doesn't matter what color they are if they're going in the incinerator. Moore whistled while looking me up and down.
I think we've got a winner. Don't you, Ash?
You look good.
I like Ash's reaction. Aunt Moore is beaming as she comes in close to make small adjustments to the fit. Meanwhile, Ash seems to suddenly find the lights particularly interesting. Thanks, guys. I wouldn't have come here if it weren't for you. And Aunt Moore, are you sure about the costume? I brought my wallet along.
It's no problem. I wouldn't have offered otherwise.
Ash shyly pokes my ribs and clears her throat to the side of me.
Hey, wait. Can I talk to you for a minute? Alone?
Obliging her request, we stick to the changing area as Aunt Moore heads for the checkout line.
So...
Confession time. It's confession time.
You know how... everyone seems to like you better than me?
What? Ash.
You know it's true. just wanted to make sure you wouldn't ditch me. I mean, Alexa's probably gonna invite you to some party, or whomever. I just don't want you to leave me feeling like a loser or something because I didn't get invited.
Ash, you shouldn't even be thinking like that. Look, wherever I go tonight, I'll make sure to drag you along, okay? Even if it's to the pits of hell. What, do you need me to make a pinky promise? Softening, Ash reaches out her hand to meet my own. Her dainty finger wraps around mine and she smiles once more.
Promise, dummy.
Aww. And just like that, Ash is back to herself, insults and all. This is wholesome as fuck. Exactly, King. What, Fo? By now, Aunt Moore is all finished checking out and waves to us from the exit.
Hey, in case you've forgotten, we gotta get you two to class.
This makes my big gay heart go doki doki. Oh, Jesus, Fo. Fo, I'm gonna look you in the eyes and I'm gonna say something to you. I'm gonna look into the middle of your soul. You were free. Quickly finishing our checkout, Aunt Moore floored it to Rift Valley and we barely made it on time. One of the biggest perks of college had to be the flexible schedules. I counted it as a blessing that Ms. Ellsworth's class didn't even begin until 11. You were free, Fo. I'm sure the other students did so too, considering her rather brutal punishment policies.
Class has started, students.
Oh, did I call that or did I call that?
Now, who failed to complete their reading assignments last night?
Yeah, flexible scheduling. Hello, hello. Hello, teacher.
Fess up now and you'll only receive a 20-point reduction from your grade.
As beautiful as she was, Ms. Ellsworth's cold demeanor was enough to scare off even the most ardent of suitors. The room went silent until a single hand was raised. Benji. He stood up and made it to the front of class.
Yeah, so I tried, Miss Ellsworth, but I just think 100 pages was a bit harsh.
You were free, Fo. Free. Benji Wilds was typically a top student from what I'd gathered. He was one of the few freshmen being groomed to join the varsity football league, and it was pretty well liked. His family was even quite well off and lived in a mansion up on the hill. Problem was, every now and then his mouth would get the better of him. Like now.
I mean, not to put down your judgment, but I've got Mr. Alvarez's 50 pages and Mrs. Potts' English test today, too. The day before Halloween, no less. It shouldn't be common practice to swamp us with work like this. Especially before a holiday we're helping our families with.
Oh, Gregor, you got a free large lollipop? Honestly, what was it with Halloween in this town? Was it really such a big deal?
I doubt anyone really read all the pages, and didn't just look up Sparker notes anyway.
Closing the history textbook in her hands, Mrs. Ellsworth calmly sat down at her desk. I almost thought it said on her desk, and I was like, hello, teacher.
This is just like you. You fucking degenerates.
That's the demon girl.
Just take the loss and get on with your life. Stop trying to get everyone else in trouble because you can't handle getting a shit grade.
Oh boy, that was Alexa Wakerson. A complete hothead with way more power than any single student should have. As an up-and-coming tennis star, chief of the yearbook committee, and daughter to the superintendent of the district, I'm sure she could get any student expelled if she wanted to. Aren't they in college? Wankerson.
Seriously, Alexa? Shouldn't that costume be like banned for your kind?
See, because she's a demon.
Huh, I never knew you wanted to be someone else so badly.
If looks could kill, Benji would be at the bottom of a ravine. Alexa was practically seething with anger now, and the entire class held our breaths for what was to come. Surprisingly enough, Alexa caught herself and huffed, calming herself down.
You know, it's pretty unfortunate that you were born without manners, class, or decency. But your outfit suggests that you're still trying. How about you just stop and accept who you are?
An audible sigh left Miss Ellsworth, no doubt from contemplating her regret over ever choosing such a profession. Both Alexa and Benji took it as their cue to sit back down. From her desk, the professor laced her fingers together and gazed at the class with menacing eyes.
Let me open up this discussion to the whole class. Do you think it's fair I assign so much reading?
I thought about it. Though I had managed to finish the reading, I didn't blame Benji. Ms. Ellsworth was notorious for assigning insane amounts of homework. Ash was getting a failing grade, too. Where are my saves? Where are my saves? Ah! I don't even remember how the question was phrased. Fuck. No. I gulped, preparing myself for what I was going to say. No, Ms. Ellsworth. I think 100 pages was a bit cruel.
Looks like I'll have to take your opinions into account next time after all. As for today, Mrs. Potts seems to be setting a good example.
Ready, fight!
You're right, Benji. I don't know who really read the chapters or not. So how's about a pop quiz?
The class collectively awed and took turns glaring daggers into Benji's skull. Resigned to my fate, I spent the rest of class scratching my head at half the questions on Ms. Ellsworth's pop quiz. This couldn't possibly be worth more than 20% of our grade, right? I really don't know if I did well on that test or not. All I could do was leave it up to the Scantron gods, I guess.
Considering the defeated looks on your faces, I think we all have learned a thing or two today.
Yeah, that you're a complete slave driver. Which I may or may not be into, depending on any given evening.
Now, taking into consideration your feelings towards homework on Halloween, I won't be assigning any tonight. I do hope you'll all have a lovely night celebrating the festivities. I certainly will. And do stay safe, class.
Ms. Ellsworth leaves the class to our own devices with a coy smile that had my heart skipping a beat. The professor might have been a sadistic fiend, but that didn't deter her from her femme fatale manner. In fact, it only flamed it.
Alright guys, I wanted to come up and apologize. I shouldn't have said all those things to Miss Ellsworth and get us all punished. I'm sorry.
Benji stood up losing like a lost pup, his ears practically drooping. Forgive him. You're forgiven, Benji. Just don't do anything that stupid next time.
Oh, I knew you would forgive me.
Nah, we're gonna need teammates.
You're the best.
Benji came in and threw his arms around me, his warm embrace warm as a furnace. Also, I think everybody in this town is a fucking monster. I think that's the secret. And I think Benji's a werewolf. Feeling my face heat up, I patted him on the back, a little frozen at what to do. Big demon, titty demon girls aren't exactly conducive to work. That is not true at all. Can we keep him? We can keep him. Sure, why not? He releases me with a heartfelt smile.
Nice costume, by the way. It suits you really well.
So good you just had to match, huh? He bites his lip playfully, poking my shoulder. Let's be friendly. I don't want to bone him. I thank him with a friendly smile before gathering my books. I can't help but notice his expression changes to something akin to disappointment. I don't want to bone him because I already have 3 best girls to decide who I want to bone. I don't need a 4th one thrown into the mix. It's already hard enough to figure it out.
Obvious, Benji.
Alexa pushed her way past the crowd of exiting students, her angel wings knocking down books and flyers.
How about I give you a treat to move aside?
Preparing for another verbal match between the two, I sit back down and remove myself from their range. He wanted to show you his werewolf red rocket. God damn it. Aggressive as ever, Alexa slides Benji's papers aside and plants herself on my desk. Benji just sidesteps her. No, that's not how that works, King. Sometimes it takes a boy to be best girl. We all learned that. Steins Gate taught us that.
I've got Mr. Alvarez's class up anyway. But my family's hosting a gathering tonight, if you want to come. Hope to see you there.
With one last toothy grin, he casually flicks one of Alexa's fake wings and shuffles off.
Now that mongrel is out of the way, how about you take me up on my invitation instead?
I might be able to be persuaded. Combing her hands through her hair, Alexa watched me with acute wonder as if gazing at a plaything.
You know, as the new kid, you've been drawing a lot of attention lately. So you'd be perfect at my party. Come to the Drifted Springs condos at 11?
You think she's a vampire? Maybe. I could see it. Also, sometimes a shark is best girl. Shark. Bruce. There we go. The enchantress in front of me leans in, her eyes piercing and hypnotic. Oh no. Okay, Retro. Commission me a Bruce emote. I felt myself slink deeper into my chair as if all the muscles in my body were being soothed into a state of ease. Actually, that's actually not a half bad idea if I alter that slightly, in that the emotes should be based on the waifu wall. Rather than making all the emotes like based on a single avatar, have the emotes based on the waifu wall. There we go. I'm only 6 subs off of the next emote slot too. Like the top waifus become emotes, exactly. I blinked and the moment was gone. Alexa was still hovering over me, anticipating an answer. I feel like this is a decision we're gonna regret, but we're gonna go to the party. I'll make it there. Count on it. Alexa let out a haughty laugh, throwing her head back.
I never even doubted.
Her nimble fingers grasp onto the fabric of my costume and pull me in close. Her lips just centimeters from mine, Alexa blows a kiss that sends my heart aflutter. I'm not sure she's a vampire. Tundra heading right towards the bad end. Yes, as Tundra always does. With a giggle, she pulls away and leaves my body feeling weightless. By the time I snap out of the trance, she's left me and the next bell is rung and I'm left with only Ash in the room, her features pinched in a peeved expression. Wordlessly, Ash packs up her bags and heads for the door. But I catch her hand as she's leaving. Ash, just let me Her bubblegum cigarette has fallen to the floor and I feel her hand tremble in my own. Suddenly, tears well up in her eyes. Her heartbroken expression catches me off guard and I freeze, not knowing what to do. Who said I'm not gonna drag you along? We're gonna crash this party. What the fuck? Ash snatches her hand from my grasp and runs off. I call out to her, but she doesn't look back. Sighing, I look up at the clock overhead. I'm already 5 minutes late now. Guess I'd better head to class. I couldn't process the events that just occurred all within minutes of each other. Just what was that? The remaining classes went by smoothly, with the exception being that I never saw Ash throughout the rest of the day. Ms. Ellsworth's was the only one I had with her after all, but I still typically would have found her in the lounge or cafeteria in between breaks. All I wanted to do was apologize and set things right with her, but she wasn't answering any of my texts and I didn't know where to look next. Yeah, that rhymed. Come on, Ash. At least let me explain. How am I supposed to crash a party without my second? It wasn't as if Ash and I were dating or anything. Wow. Wow. Man, fuck you. But ever since my first week in Marbrook, she had been enthusiastic in her attempts to get along with me. At first, I thought it was just Aunt Moore being close to her parents that pressured her to spend time. But the more I got to know Ash, I realized she was just lonely. She probably felt so ostracized from this rural town where the people had their own cliques and secrets they didn't care to share with anyone. I sighed, checking my phone again for any replies to the messages I had sent her. Nothing. Ash, where are you? I raced across the grounds, growing more anxious with every lead turned cold. Deciding it would be best to check her home next, I sent her parents a text to tell them about my arrival. Okay, this is some wicked decor. It was evening by the time I arrived at Ash's, the neighborhood porch lights flicking on in sync. Ash's parents replied that they were out of town again. They were supportive parents from what I could tell, but had to leave for work often. I knocked on the door politely, hoping to see Ash, though still unsure of what to say. There was no answer, and it didn't look like anyone was home. Ash's bedroom window was dark. Where could she have gone? Marbrook stores and businesses all but shut down for Halloween, with everyone so absorbed in festivities, so there weren't many places she could be. At least not the typical hangouts I'd find her at, the craft store, guitar center, or pet shop. I laughed quietly to myself. I never met someone so spontaneous as Ash before. Someone who just randomly ditched history for the sake of petting some puppies. Oh, so now the game explains to me that she was best girl the whole time. The weight in the pit of my stomach grew heavier at the thought. I closed my eyes, recalling the events that started this whole mess. Alexa was being flirtatious as usual, though she took it to a whole new level today. Honestly, I couldn't even react in the moment, and that led to Ash's tears. I've never seen her cry before. And in the moment, she took off so quick I didn't even notice. I just needed to find her. If only to know she was safe. Gathering a list of checkpoints in my head, I headed to the park to continue my search. Along the trailway that led to the park, I met a friend meowing softly beside the hedges. The familiar black cat gazed up at me in perfect recognition. Not long after moving here, I often crossed paths with this cat and started feeding her when I could. Fuck me. Strangely, she would always coolly reject any cat food and go straight for whatever lunch I had on hand. Fuck. Of course, with the smell of those things, I didn't blame her. How are you doing there today? Halloween working out for you? Set on my destination, I continued my stride as she turned to stroll alongside me. Following me, huh? Well, I'm not sure you want to do that. Luck doesn't seem to be on my side today. I smiled at the irony. According to superstition, black cats were unlucky by default and were to be avoided at any costs. Thing is, my luck went sour way before you came today. As if she understood, the graceful feline mewed in response. Humoring the situation, I decided to keep talking. That's my thought too, Chase. After all, we hadn't figured out what ash was yet, right? How many more waters do I have? 1.5? Alright, we should be okay. Humoring the Yeah, a lot of things happened. I got roped into a few too many plans and hurt the only real friend I've got here. She might not even talk to me after this. I sighed dejectedly as we rounded the corner to the park. I looked around to no avail. Finally giving into the need to take a break, I collapsed onto a stone bench. Searching since the time class ended left me exhausted, and by now the last remaining gleams of sunlight were escaping past the horizon. My feline friend joins me, transfixed on my reactions. I laughed under my breath. You know, if I were to lose her, I don't know what I'd do. But here I am, not even able to keep searching. Should I try to send one last message? It doesn't ever let me save on the important ones. Just one. I decided to try just one last time. Texting Ash to stay safe and call me back when she could was all I could do now. The rest would be up to her. I bite my lip in frustration. The headache I had been nursing since this morning had compounded tenfold, and a ringing in my ears interrupted any coherent thoughts. Fuck. I cursed in pain. While running around for half the day, I had clearly neglected to hydrate and pace myself. Black dots raced across my line of vision. My feline companion nestled a step closer, attempting to comfort me as she watches my pain rise. Every second that passes, it all grows less and less bearable, and I lay back, hoping to calm my body down. I pass out before my head even touches the cool stone.
Darling. My darling. You're in pain. I know. It's okay. It's all okay. I'll make it go away. Just you wait for me. We'll be together. Soon.
Well then. Gradually waking up, I groaned at the aches in my back. The stone bench was close to freezing now, as chills of cold wind blew by me. My feline friend had left and the moon was already peeking through the clouds. How long was I out for? Straightening myself up with a heave, I checked my phone. 10:44. Low battery and 3 messages, none of which were from Ash. Great. All my efforts today were in vain. I'd promised Ash I'd spend Halloween with her, but had little hope of fulfilling that now. Should I just go home? I wondered if it would be worth it to catch any of the invitations I was given for the night, considering my state. I was still in my costume, after all. Sighing, I decided to at least head back closer to home. I was blocked by a resident black cat making yet another appearance. Squatting down to meet her gaze, I smiled gently. Sorry, bud. I don't have any snacks today. Looks like I really messed up, huh? Her dark color blended into the shadows underneath yet bright eyes. Stared back at me intently. I pet her softly and she leaned into my caress, tail dancing as she purred. As I moved down to stroke her paws, I noticed something wet coating her fur. This was... blood? I stared at my blood-stained hand incredulously. Alarmed, I check her for any injuries. But she suddenly leaps up just outside my grasp. Shit. Inside her mouth is my foe, and the glass screen cracking as her fangs bite down. I lunge for her, but she dodges easily. Pivoting, she sprints off down the avenue with me close behind. Blood cat. I'm close enough to grab her before she dives down an embankment that causes me to lose my footing. Tumbling down onto an unfamiliar road, I cut my knee open and hear a bone fracture upon impact. Pain shoots through me. An agonized cry escapes. Breathing harshly, I squint to find any signs of light. A clue to where I was, a signal for help. Somebody! Help! Hello? I need help! Only the darkness answered. Sucking in a deep breath, I pushed aside the pain and heaved myself up. The sharp grit beneath me digs into my palms. Somebody? I need help. I've just been making fuck up after fuck up. Yeah, it's perfect. I called out until my voice grew hoarse. Bleeding, broken, and drained, I couldn't even drag my body forward. It was all I could do to continue surveying my surroundings for a sign of respite. Granting my wish, I saw a pair of lights make their way toward me. Here. I don't think you want those lights. Desperate, I extend my hand. The lights encroach towards me faster and faster until... I wake up aching. Wait, I made it? I could feel everything, the cuts, scrapes, and bruises scattered across my body. The burn from my broken ankle, but pain meant I was alive. I had miraculously survived. A croak of a laugh escaped me. Rolling myself over, I looked up towards the dawn sky. Orange hues and blood-red clouds blanketed the expanse above. No. Before me, a red sun engulfed the horizon. I choked back a sob in disbelief. This couldn't be right. Shaking now, I pushed myself up to my feet. Strange. My body was so clearly beaten and bruised, but I was able to stand up just fine. As if my body was weightless. I look up towards the direction of the call. You were the one who got me here. I stared at the cat frozen, unable to take in all that was going on. She waved her tail listlessly, waiting. As if spellbound, I followed. Reaching an antiquated-looking manor, the black cat spared me one last glance before jumping forth. Through the door. I gasped, open-mouthed. This all had to be a dream. That's right. Like the bizarre voices I'd been hearing in my sleep. Maybe a dream. A gateway into my subconscious, right? But in that case, there could be anything behind that door. I hesitantly brushed my fingers across the brass handle. Should I... My fingers wrap around the handle. I draw in one last slow breath and steel myself for what was to come. The door slid open with ease, and I was presented to a grand and expansive Victorian-styled foyer. Large windows and a sunroof bathed the space in scarlet luminescence while delicate items were displayed alongside the walls. Was this someone's home? I didn't hear any voices, but heard light steps coming from above me. Hello? Excuse me? No one answered, but the repetitive steps were getting louder. I stepped forward under the flickering blue lights of the chandelier. I make out a masculine voice calling out from a flight upstairs. The words are hard to make out. From my post, I watch a man descend the stairs.
Just how do these things get lost all the time?
Isn't that Micah? Brownie points for anybody who gets that reference. I stand there awkwardly, waiting to catch his attention. Alright, have a good night, King. It's on! That's also a good one. The man's gaze, previously transfixed in his search, met mine. Caught off guard, he coughs and grabs the railing to steady himself.
Rather bad practice. Entering into a man's home uninvited.
Confused at what to say, I mutter out an apology. I'm sorry. You left the door open. An uncomfortable silence passes. The man clears his throat one more time.
Have you found it, dear?
Ooh, who the fuck is she? A beautiful woman gracefully glides in from the next room. Her long hair is woven into a braid that cascades past her knees. It's a style I don't see often.
Well, a visitor interrupted me.
With a distant demeanor, the woman scrutinized me. Did you do all the music yourself as well, Yam? Or are these from, like, a specific list? Because either way, you made good choices. This track is, like, super solid for this area. She ended it with a nod and acknowledgement.
It seems the cat has dragged in someone of interest.
Literally.
Perhaps you should see what they want.
The man takes his turn in studying me up and down. He seemed to take note of my costume.
Aspiring towards royalty. Not bad.
I try to concentrate on the conversation, but a dull ache erupts, the start of another migraine. Wicked. Because, yeah, either way, even if you didn't make them yourself, you still chose a really good selection that fits, like, everything.
Well, it's a little early for that.
What was this? These two people I didn't know were just casually talking. It wasn't like many of the dreams I'd had before. Excuse me, I just need to know what's going on. Where is this? Can you tell me? The man sighed, bringing a hand up to massage his temples.
Always the same questions with you humans, isn't it?
Humans? Can you just tell me who you are?
It seems you've had a long day. Perhaps it'd be best you sit and rest for a bit, and collect your thoughts.
My vision was giving me trouble. Maybe it was the lights. And what did she mean, collect my thoughts? Actually, I just want to know where this is, if you don't mind, ma'am. I reflexively bowed my head a bit. This woman looked so regal in her dress and mannerisms that I guess I couldn't help it. A sudden shock of pain rips through my skull and I squeeze my eyes shut, wincing. I can hardly see anything, can't feel anything else but the pain. Breathing raggedly, I just cradled my head until the ache started to dissipate. She just got 8 times cuter. As I came to, my blurred vision sharpened, revealing an entirely different scene in front of me. Were those horns? This man, whom I saw just previously with pale skin, was rummaging through a box of children's toys intent on finding a particular item. I gasped, reeling back. After waiting for me to recover from the spasm of pain I had experienced, the man finally stands back up to respond. Meeting my gaze, he finally answers my question.
I think. You know who I am.
Nope, never seen you in my life. I did. Gulping, I pressed forward. I needed to hear it. So just tell me. He gives out a long sigh.
Tonight, I'm just a man preparing for his son's first birthday.
What? I didn't understand any of this. A birthday party? Today is your kid's birthday?
Of course, it's mine too.
As if something had caught his eye, he makes a hurried dash across the room. Finally finding what he'd been looking for, he holds up the object proudly. A baby bottle. He presents it to the woman happily, stroking her lower back in a loving manner.
Here it is, honey.
My thanks, darling. I'll prepare the candles now.
She returns the way she came, through a brightly lit room where I can detect the aroma of potpourri. I don't get it. What was this dream supposed to mean? The strain from my thoughts brings back an ache in my head. I struggle to go along with the conversation. Both of your birthdays are on the same day? Isn't that a little strange?
Is there a day more fitting than the very day of the dead?
The pulsing ache was taking over again, and I bit back a pained groan.
Must be the residual memories flooding back. I'll give you a minute with that.
Oh yeah, I remember getting hit by a train now. As if a dam were just broken, I kneel over from the onslaught of information pouring into my consciousness. That's right. I died then. The feeling of having my bones being crushed, of having my flesh being eaten, came surging back onto me, despite my anguished attempts in pushing them away. I retched, but nothing came out. Shaking now, I looked back up to the devil in front of me. Just what happened to me? What was that thing? I bent over, staring at my hands. What am I now? A ghost?
Why, you are now a lost soul.
How do I get back? How do I get back to my life? I couldn't help myself from raising my voice or shaking with anger. But, as if it had struck a chord, the devil began to grow fangs as his sharp horns darkened.
There is no turning back. Death is final.
Woof. That can't be right. I need to get back. He only sighs, mumbling under his breath.
Eject.
Look, I need you to help me. I'll do anything.
What I can do is bring you new life. A second life, living as one amongst us.
Amongst us? I struggle to grasp the meaning of his words. You don't mean a monster like you. That might not be Satan, Gregor.
Humankind's insurmountable plight.
But it probably is.
Millennia gone by, and you're all still the same.
It's actually been a little over a millennia, but you know. I felt a prick of rage rise as he said those words. Well, you are a monster. And how do I even know you're not like the other one? The one who ate me. Despite how worked up I was, the devil just answered me evenly.
And what is a hero? But one who slays monsters.
What is a man? A miserable pile of secrets? His words might have meant something if I weren't on such a tirade. But I'm a good person. Ha ha ha. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm barely 19. I don't deserve whatever this is.
Didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure, just putting it out there that betrayal sends you straight to the bottom. So...
The optimism you humans hold. Always thinking about your prayers and your deeds.
Balling my fists, I stared at him defiantly.
And just what made you believe that they'd have any meaning after death?
He sighs in exasperation.
Well, lucky for you, you've been vouched for.
Vouched for?
So, let's make a deal.
Sounds like fun. The red-skinned man turns and hums to himself leisurely. Betrayal sends you straight to the bottom. He pivots back with a laugh and bright eyes.
I'll need you to collect candy.
Sounds like fun.
Just what? If you can manage.
Candy. Amused by my look of utter confusion, the devil dips into one of the many doors of the manor before returning.
Every year, I hold rituals. To celebrate my day of remembrance, I hold a competition for the ghouls and demons of this town. If they bring me a living soul to feast on, I in turn give them one of these.
Good luck, my dude. He holds up what looks like a treat. The wrapper crunches as I take it in my hand. Its grim print is that of a severed eyeball. A living soul? So, what I was holding in my hand was the life of a person. Is this some sort of sick joke? You're telling me you play a game every year just to kill people? My body shook with anger. I grinded my teeth with the candy clutched in my left hand. Undeterred, the devil briskly walked behind me toward the front door.
A sign of my favor. A life for a life.
He turned again, locking my gaze. With an extended hand, he smiled widely.
Now, a deal.
Yeah, what's the worst that can happen? Despite my nerves, I shake his hand, sealing our contract. The moment I do, I feel at the palm of my hand a searing burn that sends me to my knees. Cackling, the devil watches me writhe in pain with delight. Bye-bye, Auntie. Nah, fuck Auntie. We're not bringing Auntie back here. Remember how I told you we would need an ally?
Good. Glad we can come to an arrangement.
Relinquishing my hand, I stare in horror at the bloody outline of an eye etched into my skin.
Now, I'll just be taking that back.
No. You handed it to me willingly. You didn't tell me I was borrowing it or checking it out. You gave it to me. It's mine now. Reverting back to his original red-skinned appearance, he waves a clawed finger in the air and an invisible force pushes my other hand open. Levitating before me was the candy, and with a blink it was back in his grasp. Light-headed, I stumbled to my feet. So, I did it. I made your deal. Now where do I get this candy from? The devil gleefully extends his arms as if orchestrating a show.
Oh, it's just like the proverb. A cup of sugar.
He lets out another laugh as at my confusion.
No. What's the fun in giving you all the answers?
With his magic, he flings the door open and slides my body out involuntarily.
Oh, and you should know, our deal expires by dawn. Happy trick-or-treating.
Well, I guess that's as much help as I'm going to get out of him. Turning to my surroundings, a harrowing realization comes over me. Waking up earlier, I was so disoriented that I hadn't taken the time to look around me. This is my neighborhood. I had thought it was all a dream at first. But, considering the tender mark on my hand, it just couldn't be the case. Yeah, it was. Regardless, I had a new task now. One I couldn't afford to fail. Still, where do I start? The devil said these candies were given to people who sacrificed other humans to him. My stomach turned once more. Who were these people? Did I know them? Steadying myself once more, I concentrated on my thoughts. Could Aunt Moore be one of them? No. I banished the thought from my mind. She was the kindest soul I'd ever met, and I'd seen her almost every holiday since birth. There was no way she could be it. Then, Ash? No, not her either. She'd only been living here since a few months ago. He said the ritual was only for Halloween. The town of Marbrook only had about 200 residents. It was tiny compared to the larger cities I had grown up in, but I couldn't possibly visit all these houses by dawn. Think, who could possibly be evil enough to do such a thing? Resolving myself, I headed for the only lead I had. I wonder where we're going. This was it? It's not like I had my phone to check, but recalling the details of Alexa's invitation, I marked the Drifted Springs condos as my first destination. If anything, I needed to find out more about the people in this town, and out of anyone I knew, Alexa seemed to have the best connections. I wondered if this was even the right unit, though, considering the decor was rather bright for the supposed Scare Queen. I took a breath. How am I supposed to do this? I cursed. I was a lost soul now, right? What did that mean? Clearly, I was able to touch and feel objects. And pain. So I wasn't a ghost. I could talk to the devil, but could normal people even see me? Bracing myself, I decided to start with a knock. A moment passes before the open door opens. Alexa came out in a new costume, looking as wicked as one could. That's not a costume, my dude. Her breath caught at the sight of me before coolly slipping into her usual coy grin.
My. Look at you. Now I see why you ditched my party.
She steps in for a closer look as if examining my body for injuries? That meant, you know? And you can see me. Her laughter rang out almost mockingly. So wait, does that mean you're a monster too? I felt my heart rate picking up. There's no way Alexa could tell I had just died if she weren't one of them. I stepped back. I was suddenly seeing her in a new light as if a switch had been flipped. Then those wings, the horns, even her eyes.
I'm a succubus. Get it right.
Duh. So that was it. I was going to school with a succubus. A demon hiding in human flesh. I had never taken Ash's theories seriously. Hell, I don't even think she did. But she was right. Alexa Wakerson was a demon. Alexa huffed, obviously growing impatient with my frantic but silent reaction. Even in this situation, I couldn't help but marvel at how true to character she was. I'm sorry, no one's taught me how to deal with learning my classmate is a succubus, Alexa. It's not on the curriculum, last I heard. My sarcastic remark engages her.
You don't know how lucky you are that you came to me first.
Excuse me?
I only prey on living souls.
I struggled with the meaning behind her words.
You have no use for me now. But as for the others...
A sinister smile crawls from her lips.
Let's just say there's some out there still waiting for a midnight treat.
A cold chill ran up my spine. You mean there's others like you? Worse? Unfazed, she carries on.
Of course.
I let the weight of her words set in. So, not only did I have until dawn to find these candies, but if I wasn't careful, I could potentially come across another monster happy to eat me. Again. I shook at the thought. Squinting my eyes, I willed myself to push down the terrifying memories. Look, Alexa. I don't know how it happened, but I made a deal with the devil. One that could give me another life. I just need to collect these candies.
Oh? Satan did that for you? Whose bed did you sleep in to get that kind of a deal?
Shaking my head, I kept on. I just really need your help, Alexa.
Well, I don't have any, if that's what you're wondering.
I exhaled, slumping.
But I have a few ideas who could.
I lifted my gaze to see her smiling. Alexa, thank you. I don't even know how to go about this. I need to get it all done by dawn. Do you have a map?
Let's see.
The raven-haired beauty obliges, returning with a crudely drawn map of our neighborhood with 4 marked houses. So these are the people who might have won Satan's game, right? I couldn't believe it. Just reading the map made my stomach clench. Alexa, you can't be serious.
You do remember you're the one asking me a favor, right?
She was right. By the looks of it, she didn't even have an ulterior motive to do so. So, why? Why are you helping me, Alexa?
Is it really that surprising?
Yeah, a little.
Maybe it's because I like you.
Nah, that couldn't be it.
I believe it's this thing called kindness.
No, that's definitely not it. A laugh escaped me. Even in this dismal circumstance, Alexa, of all people, was able to make me laugh. That can't be right. I'll expect the bill for this to come later.
Cross my heart.
Remembering I have a deadline, I thank her again and turn to leave.
Oh, and good luck.
Despite her reassuring words, I knew I'd need a lot more than luck to survive the night alive. I pulled out the map Alexa drew. Was this custom cardstock? I sighed, putting those thoughts aside. According to this map, there were only 4 places I could go to, and the large S must have stood for Satan. It's no wonder I'd never gone over there, considering the place was completely blocked off by the riverbank. Sigh. Sigh. Just 4 possibilities. I needed to make them count. Where should I go? Ah, shit! Alright, we're clearly going late tonight, but I'll be right back a moment, because I've been chugging water like a fish. House at the end of your block. Ash thought it was haunted. Well, we don't know who is in any of the houses on the bottom half of the map, but we know who's in the mansion at the top of the hill. But I almost wonder if that's not a trick. Because I don't fully trust Alexa. So, I think we start with the lab. After all, it is the closest one, probably. A secret lab hidden below the library? No way. If this was true, it'd be the very definition of hiding in plain sight. I needed to know if it was true. Coming up to the residence, I questioned Alexa's aptitude for directions. Claiming this was a secret lab, seriously? There was nothing suspicious about it. I mean, it was reminiscent of my grandmother's home, even. But with all the things I'd been through tonight, there was only one truth I couldn't deny. That I didn't know anything at all. I took notice of the neighborhood watch sign as I knocked on the door softly. Yet another thing that reminded me of my grandmother. There was no answer. Alexa must have gotten this one wrong. It's late and the people inside are probably asleep. Just then, the door clicked open.
Ah! Could this be? A human soul knocking at my door?
Out comes a child dressed in a lab coat and some sort of steampunk-esque mechanical glasses. He bounces on his feet joyfully and comes close to examine me.
Good, good.
Circling me, he presses onto what seemed like a transmission device on his ear and begins speaking into it.
New specimen received. Looks to be in great condition.
Wait, what?
Specimen displays a vast vocal range. Preliminary survey suggests a healthy larynx.
He gets so close I eventually push him backwards, irritated at his blatant invasion of my privacy.
Specimen is capable of utilizing a surprising amount of force. Take note to prepare relaxers upon dissection.
Dissection? What was going on? Hey, there will be no dissection. Is that how you treat someone sent by Satan? The remark stops him in his tracks. I guess pulling that card was a good move.
Specimen claims to be an acquaintance with he who shall not be named. Cancel preparations.
I let go of a breath I didn't know I was holding in.
Well, human, how can I be of assistance? It's not every day that one gives a human a pass.
Alexa said the same thing. So I was kind of a special case. I cleared my throat. I'm on the search for these candies. They have these designs that look like eyes. Do you happen to have any?
You mean the devil's candy? Sure. I got plenty. Why?
Well, I need them. Looking through the Chaos Head Discord, and someone was asking for a compilation of all the noises Kozue makes. If they do eventually post that, I would very much like that. Just saying. For a deal I made with the devil.
So he's resorted to placing deals with a human, huh? Just what do you have on him?
I'm not sure I have anything. I just came to his house is all. He seemed like he was in a good mood, preparing for his and his son's birthday. The child looked skeptical. And the more I looked at him, I realized he couldn't have been a child at all. With red eyes, sharp ears, and even sharper teeth. This one had to be a vampire.
Your death?
Excuse me?
What was the cause of your death?
I described to him the glimpses I had seen of a red-eyed monster, leaving out all the gruesome details.
A giant red-eyed monster? Could have been one of mine, actually.
One of yours? He smiles smugly.
Yeah, I dabble in a little bit of biogenetics when I've got the time.
Wow. That's something. He beams. The smile on his face probably couldn't get any wider.
You know, human, I think I can help you. If only to find out what the other guy is up to.
Funny, I had imagined Satan to be like some sort of king amongst monsters. The way he was talking, though, I doubted that now.
1 Devil's candy, coming straight up. Let me get the jar.
He came back with a jar full of the candies. My stomach clenched at the thought. Still, I pushed those feelings aside. I wanted to get this done, right? I reached in for the one on top. Realizing the texture was actually quite soft, my stomach immediately lurched. Was that an eyeball?
Ah, diligent assistants are so hard to come by. Excuse me.
He plucks the eyeball out and places it in a sealed bag. With the same glove, he gives me one of the candies.
There you go.
Waving me off, the vampire shuts the door firmly. Feeling queasy but accomplished I had completed my goal, I turn around and head off. Time to get this done. That was easy. My heart was racing, beating with anticipation. I breathe slowly, gearing myself up for another meeting with the devil. I make sure to knock this time. The door slides open without a noise, or anyone behind it for that matter. I'm once again greeted with warm lights and a whiff of potpourri wafting through the house. If I hadn't known who the owner of this manor was, I might have mistaken it for a happy family's wintertime chalet.
So you did it after all. I'm pleasantly surprised. Really? Shows me for underestimating a human. As promised, our contract is complete. Your second chance at life is granted.
I hand over the candy to his open palm. In seconds, I am overwhelmed by a surge of revitalizing energy as he crushes it before my eyes. I stared at my hands, embracing the warmth that enveloped my body. A heat I hadn't noticed I'd lost.
Now, how about you head upstairs to celebrate? I know there's someone there eager to see you.
Eager to see me? I considered declining, but nodded along instead, partially out of curiosity and also apprehension over what the devil might do if I didn't oblige. The walk up was long. Satan told me to go upstairs, but not to which room. The Grand Manor's stretch of a corridor seemed endless. In fact, I couldn't imagine its layout to even be possible, what with the square footage of the house from the outside. It led me past several doors, all of which were locked. I figured if the devil had the intention of leading me to a specific place, the door would at least be open. So I kept on, checking all the doors on my way. Finally, I reached the door at the very end. It was unique in itself, cut from a dark wood and built with a crystal-shaped doorknob. My curiosity piqued. I carefully slid the door open and stepped inside. The first thing I noticed was the smell of lavender that clung to the air, reminding me of a laundry day with Aunt Moore. The fresh scent played a stark contrast to the room itself, which would have been completely black if not for the illumination from the window. Strange. Maybe I did enter the wrong room after all. I scanned the various items on the bookshelves while feeling around for a light switch. Musical boxes, jewelry items, and stuffed animals. They were all items that could be found in a little girl's room. I glance over, startled at the unknown sound I heard coming from the dark corner. A sense of dread fills me as a pair of familiar eyes appear from the darkness. Just like before. As if paralyzed, my feet wouldn't budge an inch. Go. Run. No matter how much I willed myself, my body wouldn't move. Couldn't move. The fear I had was swallowing me whole, leaving me to die yet again at the hands of this unknown monster.
Made it.
Hello? What? Was it talking to me?
I knew you would, my love.
I watched in fixed horror as the monster began to move. Began to morph in front of me. Just what was this?
Since the very first day we met.
From the darkness came a red-eyed girl. Her grotesque features becoming more human as she spoke. With fangs, a tail, and a third eye. And her haunting voice, like the one in my dreams.
The way you cared for me. Your kindness.
I don't understand. Who are you? How did you... I clutched my head. The ringing was coming back. Another one of the headaches I had been getting ever since I'd moved here. No, that wasn't right. It was ever since...
I knew you were the one.
You're...
Rhea.
Hello. What? I don't...
My name is Rhea. I can finally hear your sweet voice call my name.
This... None of this made sense. Why are you questioning this? Don't ever question a gift horse. Or gift cat in this case. Kitty kitty mew mew wife, yes. Why? Why would you do this?
Don't you see, darling? It was all for you.
It was then that I caught a glimpse of cracked glass in my peripheral. My phone. You were the one who killed me. She stepped in closer, reaching for my face. Upon contact, I noticed her hand was wet and cold. Struck in petrified horror, I could only watch as she continued to rub the metallic blood into my skin.
To save you from your pain. I know what it's like to be hurt and feel lonely. But you'll never have to feel that again. Because I'll be here for you.
What was this girl thinking? I just got a second chance, though. I can't waste it. I have friends and family I need to get back to.
Oh, no. You won't have to worry about that at all. I'll take care of everything. All that's left will be us.
Okay. All that's left. What do you mean? My breath caught at the implication of her words. If she really was the cat I'd been visiting. The blood. Where did it come from?
Oh, darling. I was only trying to help her. You see, she seemed so lonely. Crying by the riverbank. All because of you.
Ash was crying? Alone? Because of me?
So, I did the both of us a favor.
Tears filled my eyes as I thought about all the times I wasn't there for Ash. I didn't stick with our plans. So you killed her? Bile rose to my throat, and I found myself quivering like a leaf. Please no, this couldn't be real.
My love, I only did what I had to. So you could be mine. And mine alone.
Yandrae's best.
I couldn't lose to that filthy wretch. And really, I tried to give her a peaceful death. But the poor thing, she just had to put up a fight. You should have seen it.
She grins, manic in her delirium. Dancing around the room, she stops at the small table before stepping aside to proudly display her trophy.
The terror in her vibrant eyes. The blood-curdling scream that filled the night. It was magnificent. She just couldn't deny the inevitable. I wonder if the townsfolk will like the masterpiece I left behind. I've always been rather fond of the color red.
She pressed closer to my chest as a sob racked through my body.
Oh, darling.
Alright, have a good night,
don't
Hand.
Cry. It was what she deserved for loving you. Only I can have you after all. Smile, darling. From here on out, we'll be together forever.
How is that a bad end? Someone explain this to me. This is a win in my book. I haven't met half of these characters yet. I also was never given Vincent's name. Even though I did meet him. Well, I know this is going to set us behind as far as our original schedule, but I can't ignore the fact that it's midnight. And I do need to start fixing my sleep schedule since I start my new job in 2 days. That being said, tomorrow, we're going to come back to not only last meal at the Mori Cafe, we're also going to come back to Devil's Door because this game is really, really well made. And I feel like not only did I don't feel like that was a bad end. That was a really good end for me. I'm just saying. I love yanderes. They're my bread and butter. But there are a lot of characters we haven't been introduced to. A lot of characters we weren't introduced to. And I feel like that was the shortest end as well. That being said, even with that being the shortest end, it by itself took us an hour and a half. A little bit more than that, actually. So, this might be the longest visual novel in the whole set. But we're going to come back tomorrow. We're going to play more of Devil's Door. And if we finish all of Devil's Door tomorrow, then we will play Last Meal at Cafe Mori. If not, we will push Last Meal of Cafe Mori until Friday. No, Thursday, because my calendar is throwing off my mind.